Hi, and welcome back to
Inspired to Game. I'm Sean.
And I'm Lola. If you enjoy what you see here, please support our channel by subscribing down below.
And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much. I know Kung Fu.
Today we are talking about Luddite. Luddite is a campaign coming to Kickstarter early July, and it is a roll and write sci-fi dystopian game with an optional campaign mode with integrated graphic novel. In this dystopian world, people are losing their jobs and their livelihood in large amounts due to these Neds, dog-like bionic creatures that can do anything. They can do anything people can do, and they can do it better. They don't need to sleep, they don't need to take breaks, and they are free. So everybody's losing their jobs, people are being thrust into poverty, and people are rising up. So in this game, you work as engineers that are specifically getting into the neural networks of these creatures to hack them and break them to liberate humanity. Before we get into our review of this game, we'll give you a quick overview of how to play it. In each turn in a game of Luddite, you will be rolling 3d6 hacking dice. Each number of the dice will be used at some place within the neural network of the Ned. So this represents the brain, the neural network of the AI that you are trying to destroy. Each dice you can apply to a different area, a different module. One will have to be applied to the clock module each and every turn. The larger the number, the more space it's going to take up, and the sooner the game will be over. As soon as that clock is finished, the game will end. If you have not made it to the exit within that time, you have lost the game. If you have made it to the exit in time, you see how much damage you have caused the Ned, and if it's enough damage based on the level of difficulty you're playing with, you have won the game. Now this game can be played solo, cooperatively, competitively. It can be played as one-off individual roll and write games, or as a campaign style game of increasing complexity tied in with a graphic novel advancing the story. So I was really excited about this game from the beginning because I love a good dystopian game. We really enjoy roll and write games, but it was so fascinating to hear about this dystopian roll and write game that's also a campaign game with an integrated graphic novel. So I figured that's really super unique. One thing that's wonderful about the campaign as well is they will be offering a cheap PDF print it yourself at home pledge level for around $5, as well as a higher pledge level that will include a physical copy of the game that can be delivered to your door and you can keep proudly on your shelves. I like this option because although we like these roll and write PDF games, they're fantastic, there's still that issue of printing it out, remembering to do it. There's a bit of time there, and if it's ink dependent, that can affect, that can affect your printing. As well, if it doesn't have a physical box and a place to stay, it's easy to just forget about it and not even remember that you have it, which can be sad. Whereas if it's a physical presence on your shelf in a box, then it's something that you see and you can remember, oh, I have this game and I'd like to play it. So it's nice to have those options for those who are happy to save, to print everything out themselves, and then for those who would just prefer to have the physical copy. So we received the first chapter of this game, read through the graphic novel. The artwork is really beautiful, it's really immersive, and then the first map for this is really cool looking as well. It's a fun roll and write game to play, and what's interesting about it is there is a distinct push your luck mechanism to it as well because of the clock module, which really kind of keeps you on your toes. So there's a good amount of thinking as you're deciding how best to use your dice, because you want to create the maximal damage, but you also have to get your nettle down into the exit, and that's really important because you automatically lose if you don't. But as you work through that network, you're also having the opportunity to create good amounts of damage at the same time. So it's really fun to decide how you're going to use your dice, but at the same time, if you keep rolling nothing but high numbers, that clock is going to max out really fast, and you're going to have much shorter of a game and you just might not make it. So there's an element of suspense and tension that comes about because of that variable game length. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and as well, each of those modules each of the nodes that you're moving through, you have to unlock the node itself in a certain way, and sometimes there are certain logic gates that you're going to need certain gates on, certain gates off, and you can plan your route is to take advantage over having gate number 2 off, and then at a certain point you have to turn that on to move forward, and it's really a lot of great strategic planning, and it brings into mind some of the hacking simulations you would get into, like the Shadowrun game on the Sega Genesis, or the card game Netrunner, or those kind of things. It just brings you into that kind of realm, and the graphics, the art design is all immersing you in that same kind of feeling.
Yeah, and I love having those logic gates. And I'm proud that I know what they are, because one of my kids got into that, and so we learned logic gates together, and it was really, really neat and very interesting to apply that logic. And what's cool too is as you work through the different maps, so you can play them individually just as, an individual one-off roll and write game, but if you play it as a campaign, it is progressing in difficulty as well as you go along. So each map is going to be different, so you don't get that level of boredom of having, it's the same map, I know what I usually like to do, and and then it gets a little bit dry. But with having that shifting gates, even, because I think like the second one introduces you to more gates than just the basic and or and such, and gets into NAND and so on and so forth. So you get more complicated and you get more involved, and the story is progressing. So I don't know where the story goes, but I can tell I'm excited about this one. It's just, I think, so unique, combining that roll and write, campaign, and a graphic novel story to drive it forward. It's just really cool. Yeah,
and I also like the fact that it can be competitive. See which one of you scores the most damage on that map, or cooperatively, where you just average your 2 scores, and hopefully it's over the amount, the threshold that you've set by choosing your difficulty level. And that way as well, if you've got a new player and somebody's a little more practiced, well, they don't have to score the 50 or so points that they need, as long as you've scored more than 50, and you can bring that average up and over the threshold that you need.
Yeah, and you can play it at any player count, so you can play it solo, obviously, or with an unlimited amount of people. So you could just print out more copies, and however you want to do that. It's really cool to include lots of people like that. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely like that option too. So you can have it competitively, but sometimes it's just nice to cooperate. We're going in there together, and thematically it works to do it cooperatively. So each time we played it, we just did it cooperatively and just kind of saw okay, what did we both score, and calculate it out from there, because it makes it feel like, we're both independent engineers working on our own NEDs that we're trying to hack, and then seeing how we've done it. Or maybe we're going into the same one, but in essence, the idea is this is people working together to take back their lives and take back their livelihoods. And it's fun.
So as you may have seen with our examples, we did we received the print and play files, and we printed them out and put them into a report cover so we can use dry erase markers. The actual boxed version has a very similar mechanism where each player's notebook will have laminated boards that they will be able to use dry erase markers as well. I believe there's also metal tokens to use for your needle. Of course, for us, we could use anything. It's like choosing your persona in the Matrix.
So if you enjoy a roll and write game, you might want to check this out, especially if you like that dystopian genre as well. We found that this was a lot of fun, and the nice thing is the entry point is very low. And in fact, once the campaign comes out, I believe that they will have the first chapter and map for free. So you could just download it and print it and try it out for yourself. So once this is available, we will have the link to it down in our description below. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching with us today.
Yeah, check out some of our other videos.
And as always, happy gaming, folks. Within the neural network of the NED that you're trying to hack. Hi, baby. That was a good start.
And then she was sitting and the camera's like, oh, cat, I'll focus on.
Luddite takes place in this dystopian world, the workers of the world, in this dystopian world, people are being...
Soy McGree is people! Sorry.
In this dystopian world, people are being replaced by an automaton. I can't think. I don't know. Okay.